Lost in jungle. Deep in the heart of a dense jungle, a group of friends set out on a trekking adventure. They were a team of experienced hikers. But nothing could have prepared them for the horrors that awaited them in the unforgiving jungle. They were soon to be lost, with no idea of how to find their way back. The group consisted of 5 members. Alex, the leader of the group, his girlfriend Maya, their friends, Peter and Lily, and their guide, an experienced forest ranger named Rick. They had been hiking for 2 days when they decided to take a shortcut through the jungle. The forest was dense, and the canopy of trees above blocked out most of the sunlight. As they moved forward, the group soon realized that they had lost their way. The jungle seemed to have a mind of its own. With the paths shifting and changing at every turn. They tried retracing their steps, but it was no use. The group was lost, with no food or water, and the jungle was starting to take its toll on them. As night fell, the group huddled together, trying to keep warm. They were tired and hungry, but they dared not venture too far from their campsite. The night was filled with the sounds of the jungle. The chirping of insects, the howling of distant animals, and the rustling of leaves. The darkness was oppressive, and the group struggled to find any comfort in the midst of the eerie silence. In the morning, the group set out again, trying to find their way back to civilization. But the jungle was unforgiving, and the paths seemed to lead them deeper into the wilderness. As they walked, the group came across a river. They were overjoyed, believing that they could follow the river to a nearby village. However, the river was treacherous, and the group struggled to navigate it. They waded through the murky waters, trying to avoid the sharp rocks that littered the riverbed. As they moved forward, the river grew wider, and the currents stronger. The group was soon separated, with Alex and Maya swept away by the river. The others searched frantically for their missing friends, but it was no use. The jungle had claimed them, and the group was now lost and alone. They continued to trek through the jungle, but with each passing hour, their hope of survival grew dimmer. As the sun started to set, the group stumbled upon a clearing. In the center of the clearing was an ancient temple, with intricate carvings and pillars that seemed to reach up to the sky. The group was amazed at the sight, but they were also wary. They had heard stories of ancient temples in the jungle, and they knew that these places were often cursed. However, the group had no other option. They were tired and hungry, and they needed shelter for the night. They cautiously entered the temple, their hearts pounding with fear. The temple was dark, and the air was thick with the scent of incense. As they moved deeper into the temple, they heard a faint chanting in the distance. The group followed the sound, and they soon found themselves in front of an altar. On the altar was a golden idol, with ruby eyes that seemed to glow in the darkness. The group was spellbound, unable to take their eyes off the idol. But their wonder turned to horror when they saw the sacrifices that lay at the foot of the altar. The sacrifices were human, their bodies twisted and contorted in agony. The group realized that they had stumbled upon an ancient cult that practiced human sacrifice. They knew that they had to leave the temple and fast. As they turned to leave, they were suddenly surrounded by cultists. The cultists were dressed in strange robes and carried sharp knives. The group was trapped, with no escape in sight. The cultists began to chant, their voices growing louder and more menacing with each passing moment. In a desperate attempt to escape, the group fought back. They used whatever they could find as weapons, sticks, rocks, and even their own fists. The cultists fought back just as fiercely, but the group managed to overpower them. With the cultists defeated, the group made a run for it. They fled the temple and ran through the jungle, with the cultists hot on their heels. The group was tired and wounded, but they knew that they had to keep running. After what seemed like hours, the group finally saw a glimmer of hope in the distance. It was a village, and they knew that they were saved. They ran towards the village, shouting for help. The villagers came out to meet them, and the group collapsed in relief. The villagers took care of the group, giving them food, water, and medical attention. They listened to their story and were horrified by what they had endured. The villagers promised to help them find their missing friends and to report the cultists to the authorities. With the help of the villagers, the group was able to find Alex and Maya. They were battered and bruised, but alive. The group returned home, shaken but grateful to be alive. They knew that they would never forget the horrors that they had endured in the unforgiving jungle. The end.